Okay everybody, it's CAPAF time again. This year we're going to try something different. If you remember last year we got you to put the head of a staff member onto the body of a celebrity. Well, this year we're going to work again with the staff images, but we're going to do something slightly different with them. We're going to try and do what we call a staff mashup, where we combine two faces to make one new face. So again, the first thing you need to do is to go to Classes, connect to Classes, T&E, CAPAF, and there will be staff photos for 2018. They're on their way, so I'm going to use staff photos from 2017. You then need to choose two photos. Here's one I might choose. If I scroll down, you can see other ones as well. So choose two photos. When you found a photo you like, you just drag it onto the desktop. Drag it onto the desktop. I suggest you use maybe photos of people where you can see a lot of their face, because it's easier to cut that out with one of your two images. Maybe mix and match a male and a female face just to get a funny combination. So find two images. You can have a few goes at this till you find the right combination. So I've already copied two images onto my desktop. I'm now going to select those two images, and if I drag them down over the top of the PS for Photoshop and let go, it'll open those two images into Photoshop for me. Okay, here we are in Photoshop, and I've got my two images. Here's one. If I click up here, there's my other. So I've got my two staff images that I'm going to use. So I need to put one over the top of the other, and this is how we do it. We'll click on this one, and using the tools down here on the left hand side in Photoshop, these first are all different types of selection tools. We're going to choose this one, which is called a marquee tool, and this particular one is a rectangular marquee tool. Make sure I've got that one selected, and then I'm going to draw a box around this image. Now it doesn't have to be spot on. I can be way out here somewhere to the side, and I can just scroll down to way out there, and it just picks up the image. You can see that the running ants are now just around that image. So I've selected that image. I can go edit and I can copy it. I can now click on my other image and I can go edit and I can paste it. So as you can see, I've now got one image sitting over there. Come down to the right hand side here, and you can see on my layers, I'm on my layers panel here, and I've got two layers. I've got a layer 0 and a layer 1. Think of them as a sheet of plastic, clear plastic. So the layer 1 sitting on top of layer 0. Okay? And I'll show you that, because if I've got layer 1 as my active layer, you can see it's highlighted there. Click on that, the opacity, which is at 100%. And if I drag that right down, you can now see the other image underneath it. Can you see that? But I have a bit of a problem, because you can see that things aren't lining up. Let me just turn that opacity up just a little bit. Can you see how the eyes don't line up and the mouth doesn't line up? Yeah. So I really need to adjust one of these images to make them line up. So I'm going to choose my selection tool here, another selection tool, and I can do a bit of tweaking. I can grab this corner, this bottom right hand corner, and I can drag it in. Oh. There we go. Now if you look now, I'll tick the box. I'm ticking the box up at the top and click off it. And now I've got one image over the other. Okay? If I choose this image, I can turn this back up again. And there's my top image. Okay, I turn it off, and there's my bottom image. Okay, so I'm currently on the top image. Now to make life a bit easier, we're going to zoom in. So I'm on 100%. I'm going to zoom in to go up to 200%, maybe up even higher. There we go. Now this is where the fun starts. I'm going to use my eraser tool. Okay, and I'm coming across and use my eraser. Now at the moment it's saying, look, you can't erase anything. Do you know why? Well, come over here and look at the panels, the layers panels over here. I haven't actually selected a layer. I've deselected both layers. So I need to choose which layer I'm going to erase. I'm going to erase on the top layer here. So erase from layer 1. Okay. And at the moment, my eraser looks rather big, doesn't it? I can come up here where the tools are, and I can now reduce the size of that. And I can do it a couple of ways. I can just sort of drop down here, or I can reduce the size 35 down to 20. What size is that circle? A bit better. Let's make it 15. I can type in the number 15 if I want to. And it gives me a circle that's that big. Okay, I'm now going to come back over to here, and I'm going to rub out one eye to reveal the eye that was underneath and the eyebrow that was underneath. How weird's that? And now I'm going to do the same on the other side. So though the eyes line up, the eyebrows are much lower, aren't they? See how they, oh gosh, look at that. Okay, so we've changed one of the features on this person. Let's just try changing the mouth. What happens if I change the mouth? So yes. Now I'm going to give you a little tip while I'm doing this. I still think my erasing circle is a little bit too big. I could go back up to the top and change that number down again, but another way of doing it, have a look on your keyboard. See where the letter P is on the second row? The letter P. To the right of that we have some brackets, square brackets and curly brackets. If I just click on the left hand one of those two, it makes my circle smaller. If I click on the right hand bracket, it makes my circle bigger. See that? So I can make my circle even smaller, and then I can fine tune a bit more what I'm actually going to be cutting out with my lips. Okay, so we've now got rather a weird looking person coming up. Is that cool? So having done that, the last thing to do is to use what we call a bit of blending to try and get rid of some of these marks. This is called the blur tool, works particularly well. If I click on the blur tool, you've also got a smudge tool or a sharpen tool, but the blur tool I find works quite well. So I come across with my blur tool, and now I can just rub a little bit of blurring in there, and it just helps to get rid of some of that sharpness where you had a contrast between the lights. So you can't quite see how we did that. Okay, I have done that very quickly to give you an idea of what we can do. So if we zoom back to 100%, we've now got this new person. Okay. So it used to look like that. It now looks like that. And if I turn the other layer off, you can see the bits that I've erased to achieve that. So that's your challenge today. And we're going to make it a quiz. Once you've completed your mashup, you then are going to have that displayed, and your colleagues, your friends, your peers have got to try and guess who the two teachers are in your picture. So give that a go and see how you go.